Rapid Materials here. Today I'm going to show you how to mount a satellite dish on a metal roof panel. Today we're going to do a standing seam panel, and I have a typical satellite dish base. If you have some of the new Starlink satellite dishes, they do have different styles of bases, different mounting feet, but basically the principle is all the same. So let's take a look at all the parts and pieces we're going to need. Okay, let's take a look at the parts that are going to come in your satellite dish mounting kit. First and foremost, and the most important part, is the clamp. Now, S5 manufactures a variety of clamps. This particular one is the S5H90. It is very suitable for the type of roof panel we're using for this demonstration video. If you go on our website, you'll notice that S5 makes a whole lot of different clamps with different shapes and different sizes. If you're not sure which one to use with your roof panel, contact us. We'll tell you the right one, and we can tell you quick. Every S5 clamp is going to come with 2 set screws. So this kit will include 8 set screws that go into the side of the clamp that help secure it to the metal roof panel. I highly suggest that before you go up on the roof, you make sure those set screws are in the clamps and threaded in deep enough that they're not going to fall out. You're also going to receive 4 M17 bolts. These are 17 millimeters long, which is about 9/16, and this is what we're going to use to attach the CF tab to the clamp. They'll mount just like so. The CF tab engages the GripperFix rail. You're going to have 2 of these. This is a GripperFix GF26. This tab slides right into the slot right there. And it's infinitely adjustable, so if your metal roof panel is 14 inches apart, or the ribs are 15 or 16 or 18, you're going to get a perfect fit every time. Note that this GripperFix rail has a slot built into it. And this slot is always going to be pointed to the sky, and it is here to accommodate our M40 bolts, of which you will have 4. And that M40 slides right in. And because of the design, it keeps the bolt from rotating and holds it in place when we clamp everything down. So there you have it. That's everything you need to install this. Let's move on to actually installing. So you've already pre-assembled your set screws to your clamps down on the ground. Next thing you do is you're going to access the roof, and you want to lay out where your first bar is going to be in relationship to the top of your roof panel, the bottom roof panel. I always mark on the panels using a Sharpie. The reason I do this with a Sharpie is that a Sharpie won't cause any permanent damage to the paint or to the metal. If you don't like that black mark being there, you can always come in with some rubbing alcohol and it comes right off. If you use a pencil, pencil has graphite in it, and graphite at times can interact with the paint or with the unpainted panel, and you can get some corrosion, so it's always best not to do it. Now, you can see the panel is dimpled here already, and that's because I've already test fit this clamp. This is normal, and this is what you want to see. The clamp works by the end of the set screw creating a dimple in the panel, and that prevents the panel from sliding back and forth, or from the clamp from sliding back and forth on the panel. The set screws are bullet nose, so they won't damage the paint. So after I mark them, I get them set in place. Tight. Important, I'm using a screw gun. Technically I'm using a drill with a screw gun setting on it. Don't use an impact driver. Impact drivers will damage the threads in these set screws, and then you're going to be throwing a clamp away. So good 18 volt, set it at the highest torque level for this particular screw gun. It's going to get me right in the correct torque range for these set screws. It's recommended you check the torque. If you want to do that, you're going to use an inch-pound torque wrench. The recommended torque is going to be between 130 and 175 inch-pounds on most S5 clamps. You're not sure, give us a call. We'll look it up and tell you exactly what it should be. But generally, most S5 clamps are tested at 115 with a recommended torque of 130 to 175. And an 18-volt screw gun is going to get it right in there. So once you get that in place, next thing we do is we take our extrusion. And if you remember, this slot needs to go eye to the sky. We take this little CF tab and we slide one in, and we slide another one in. And these are going to be adjustable, so we kind of get them where we want them, where they're going to line up with our clamps. Oops, we're going to turn this one around this way. And And it will sit right about there. Next, we're going to run in some of these M17 bolts. And we're just going to finger snug them just a little bit. We don't want to tighten them. We just want to have them a little bit snug, enough to keep this GripperFix rail from running away from us on the roof. We still want to have a little slop and adjustment in it. And now the other GripperFix rail is going to be set where the slot is the same distance as this hole-to-hole centering. And let's see, last time I checked, that means that needs to be at 6 inches. So if you're smart, what you've done is down on the ground, you pre-assembled this little doodad, and you know exactly how far apart those rails need to be. So I didn't do that. You have to do a little bit of math. What I do know is the center of that bolt hole to the center of that slot is 1.5 inches. So let's see, to get 6 inches, I need to subtract 1.5 from 6. Gives me 4.5 minus another 1.5 inches gives me 3 inches. So the center of that bolt hole would have to be 3 inches from the center of this bolt hole, which almost puts these clamps back to back. Let's see. Now just snugging those up, not making them tight. And let's see. Actually, right close to center to center. Now, note this is going to vary on every one of these satellite dishes because they all have different feet. But for this one, it looks like it's pretty darn close. So we have a little bit of adjustment because this CF tab is slotted. And we also have a little bit of adjustment laterally, side to side, because the CF tab slides in the GripperFix rail. So let's see here. Put that down. And then we'll just loosely put it in. Adjust this so it's close. Okay, so cross-checked, and we are just at 6 inches. There's enough variation in this hole that things are going to line up really well. Now, notice I've still got this a little bit loose because I want to make sure everything fits right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our M40 bolts, and they slide in. I don't know if you saw it, but there's actually a pocket those bolts can slide into. And we're going to move these to approximate locations where we need them to be to attach to the satellite dish. About there, we're going to take our satellite dish mount and we're going to put the bolts through the holes. We're going to take our little M8 nuts. And we don't have to have a wrench on the bottom because the shape of the GripperFix actually holds the bolt and keeps it from spinning. Just bring these down. Just a little bit of a loose fit until we get everything together. And now we can kind of snug them up. Make sure you've got your dish mount where you want it to be. We're putting this one approximately mid-span between the roof panels. Once you get that in place, you can take your wrench and you can snug these up just a little bit. Wouldn't crank on them at this point in time. May still want to loosen them up and do a little bit more adjustment. So we're just going to snug them up pretty good. snug. I like it. I'm going to come in, I'm going to tighten up these bolts on the CF tabs. At this point in time, I think I want to pull them down tight. Now, if you want to torque these, the recommended torque for these bolts is 13 foot-pounds, excuse me. So a different tool. But I can tell you that a good snug turn with that wrench, and they're not going anywhere. On the bottom of those flanges on the bolts, they actually have serrations. So people ask, do I need to use lock washers? No, you don't need to use lock washers because the serrations on the bottom of the bolt accomplish the same thing. Alright, get that snug. Just come back and check these bolts, make sure they're snug. And they are. And that installation is complete. And this is going to be super strong. It's not going anywhere. The load that you would have to put on this assembly to cause it to fail would be in the thousands of pounds. So you can be assured that this isn't going anywhere. Well, thanks for watching our video today. I hope it was simple and to the point and showed you how easy it is to install our satellite dish kit on a standing seam metal roof using the GripperFix system. For more information, don't hesitate to give us a call at 770-405-1060, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Happy to help out any way we can. And if you're real lucky, you get a helper like Maya here, who's going to give us a hand today. Maya, sit. Oh, such a good girl. Thank you.